Some reunions reopen old memories, but this one uncovered a promise that had survived 15 years. If emotional stories about love, family, sacrifice, and unforgettable second chances inspire you, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because today's story will stay with you long after it ends. Daniel Carter never imagined he would return to Millbrook High School. 15 years had passed since graduation, yet walking through the gymnasium felt as though time had folded in on itself. The polished basketball court, the familiar trophy cases, and the faded school colors brought back memories he had spent years trying to bury. He wasn't the same ambitious teenager who had once dreamed of changing the world. Life had humbled him. After serving overseas as a Navy medic, he had returned home carrying invisible scars that no one could see. Now he worked as a physical therapist, quietly helping injured veterans rebuild their lives while living alone in the small town he had once rushed to escape. Daniel had almost skipped the reunion entirely. His closest friends had insisted he come, promising a relaxing evening filled with laughter and old stories. He reluctantly agreed, convinced it would be nothing more than awkward conversations and forced smiles. As he stood near the refreshment table, people recognized him immediately. Former classmates greeted him warmly, recalling how he had always helped others during school. They laughed about football games, forgotten teachers, and graduation day. Daniel smiled politely, but his eyes constantly wandered toward the entrance for reasons he couldn't explain. Then the room suddenly grew quiet. A woman stepped inside wearing a simple lavender dress. Her golden hair rested gently on her shoulders, and although she remained as beautiful as Daniel remembered, sadness had replaced the bright smile that once lit up every hallway. Beside her walked a little girl, no older than 7, holding her mother's hand tightly. Emily Brooks. Daniel felt his heartbeat quicken. 15 years earlier, Emily had been his first love. They had planned futures together, talked about college, marriage, and someday building a family. But life had other plans. Daniel enlisted after graduation while Emily accepted a scholarship hundreds of miles away. Distance became silence, and silence became years without contact. As Emily slowly entered the gym, conversations faded around her. Many classmates approached, offering gentle hugs and quiet condolences. Daniel overheard someone whisper, "Her husband passed away last year." The words hit him harder than expected. Emily looked exhausted, as though grief had stolen years from her life. Yet she carried herself with remarkable strength, always keeping one protective hand on her daughter's shoulder. Daniel considered walking away before she noticed him. After all these years, what could he possibly say? Before he could decide, the little girl spotted him across the room. Her eyes widened. She tugged gently on Emily's hand. "Mom!" Emily looked down. The little girl pointed directly at Daniel. "Mom knew you'd be here." Daniel froze. Emily slowly lifted her eyes. Their gazes met for the first time in 15 years. Every sound inside the gym disappeared. For several silent seconds neither of them moved. Finally Emily whispered his name. "Daniel!" She smiled through tears. "I almost didn't come." Daniel slowly approached, unsure whether to shake her hand or hug her. Emily solved the dilemma by embracing him tightly. Neither of them spoke. Neither needed to. When they finally stepped apart, Emily introduced her daughter. "This is Lily." The little girl smiled politely. "It's nice to finally meet you." Daniel blinked in confusion. "Finally?" Lily nodded confidently. "Mom tells stories about you." Emily looked embarrassed. "I suppose I owe you an explanation." Before she could continue, classmates interrupted them, eager to welcome Emily back. She excused herself politely, promising Daniel they would talk later. Hours passed, but Daniel couldn't stop thinking about Lily's strange words. "Mom knew you'd be here." Why had Emily spoken about him all these years? What explanation could possibly connect him to a little girl he never met? As the reunion dinner came to an end, Emily quietly approached Daniel again. "Would you mind taking a short walk outside?" Daniel nodded. Neither of them knew that the conversation waiting beneath the stars would completely change both of their lives forever. Outside, the cool evening breeze carried the sounds of laughter from inside the gym, but Daniel and Emily walked in silence toward the empty football field. Lily skipped a few steps ahead, happily chasing fireflies, giving the two adults a rare moment alone. Daniel finally broke the silence. Lily said she'd heard about me. Why? Emily took a deep breath and stared at the stadium lights. Because you were never just a memory. Daniel looked at her, confused. Emily smiled sadly. The night before graduation, you gave me something. Daniel searched his memory. Then he remembered. A small handwritten letter. Inside, he had written that no matter where life took them, he hoped she would always choose kindness over bitterness, and never stop believing that love could survive even impossible distances. Emily reached into her purse. She carefully unfolded an old piece of paper, worn at the edges after years of being opened countless times. It was that letter. I've carried it everywhere, she whispered. Daniel was speechless. When my husband became sick, I read your words every night. They reminded me to stay strong even when everything felt hopeless. She looked toward Lily. When he passed away, I thought I'd never smile again. Daniel gently asked. Then why come here tonight? Emily's eyes filled with tears. Because Lily kept asking if heroes were real. Daniel frowned. What does that have to do with me? Emily smiled. Every time she asked, I told her about a boy named Daniel. The boy who stood up for classmates nobody defended. The boy who stayed after school helping struggling students without asking for recognition. The boy who believed kindness mattered more than popularity. Lily ran back toward them. She wrapped her tiny hand around Daniel's fingers. So, you're the hero? Daniel laughed softly. No. Lily shook her head. Mom says heroes never call themselves heroes. Emily wiped away another tear. My husband knew those stories too. Daniel looked surprised. He wasn't jealous? Emily smiled warmly. He thanked you? Daniel stared at her. He said if another man helped shape the woman I became, then he was grateful. For a long moment, none of them spoke. Then Lily reached into her backpack. I have something. She handed Daniel a small envelope. My dad wrote this before he died. Daniel slowly opened it. Inside was a simple handwritten message. If you're reading this, then Emily found the courage to return home. Please remind her that happiness isn't something she has to earn. Tell Lily to keep believing in good people. And if life gives all three of you another chance at becoming a family in whatever way feels right, don't let fear steal it. Daniel's vision blurred with tears. Emily quietly admitted. He believed people were brought into our lives for a reason. Months passed after the reunion. Daniel never tried to replace Lily's father. Instead, he became a trusted friend who showed up for school plays, helped with homework, fixed broken bicycles, and listened whenever either of them needed someone. Friendships slowly became healing. Healing quietly became love. A year later, during another evening beneath the same football stadium lights where everything had changed, Daniel knelt down, not only before Emily, but also before Lily. He smiled. I don't just want to marry your mom. He looked at Lily. I'd be honored if you'd let me become part of your family. Lily threw her arms around him before Emily could even answer. Yes. Emily laughed through joyful tears. That's the easiest yes I've ever given. Sometimes life doesn't return people to rewrite the past. It brings them back to build a better future. And sometimes, the smallest voice in the room carries the biggest miracle. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that hope can appear when you least expect it, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who still believes in second chances. Until next time, thank you for being part of this storytelling family.